5280 Sports Network on a Tuesday. Hi, how are you? It's Nate Lundy, TJ Carpenter. Sean is off today, back with us later on this week. All right, the decision that should have been made months ago was made official yesterday. Trevor Siemian will be the starting quarterback going into the season for the Broncos. TJ, initial reaction to the news?
Obvious. We kind of knew that this was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen pretty early on in training camp. It was fairly obvious that one guy knew what he was doing, the other guy did not. That's really important to coaches. So Trevor Siemian's your guy. Question now, I think, is he going to be able to improve upon his production last year?
I think that's going to be one of the big ones, obviously. Can he make some improvement? I don't believe that Trevor Siemian's ceiling is Aaron Rodgers by any stretch, but I also believe we haven't quite seen what his ceiling is yet. I do think that he can improve. I do want to see what happens when he's not spending most of his time on his butt or near to it, because of the play of the offensive line. If this offensive line can improve, if Garrett Bowles can be not even all pro, but if he can be so much better at left tackle than what they've had before, allow the rest of those four guys on the line to be able to work together, give him some pass protection, and most importantly, have a running game, because that can be the best friend a guy like Trevor Siemian could have, is the running game. We know the running backs are good. The Broncos have more running backs than they know what to do with, TJ, but the question is, can the line hold up to be able to make that be his friend?
I think the line's clearly better, especially on the right side. I think your right guard and right tackle, you really like those positions. They played really well in the preseason. They still are committing a lot of penalties. I think that's the big concern with the offensive line, is to make sure that they keep it within the bounds of the game, cover up their holds and things like that. If they can do that, I think the offensive line will be really good. And I think, too, we're talking about Trevor Siemian getting better. I think he'll be much helped by the fact that Henderson has emerged, not just as a viable backup, but perhaps as a major contributor to this offense.
Yeah, when we talk about trying to get the offense with more talent around them, it's not about the receiving core, although I do want to see the tight end position develop more. That's a broken record for me. I've been talking about it for quite a while, but you've got some great receivers. You've got some very good backs. Now it's a matter of getting those guys to function within that line. I think now that the decision has been made, and again, it's a decision that should have been made months ago, now you truly have the ones. Now the ones are going to work together all the way between now and the start of the regular season. That's what has been missing. That's what should have been done a few months ago. I'm glad to see that they are finally going to be in that position. We've talked about it on the radio show this morning. We actually want to invite you to participate with us on Twitter as well, at TJ Carpenter Show, at Nate Lundy. And you can even call in on the show. We're back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I continue to ask the question of why people don't like Trevor. What is it about Trevor Siemian that they do not like? I'll share one of the theories with you, and that is when you've seen Brock Osweiler fail, when you've seen a first-round pick in Paxton Lynch not be able to take the reins as he enters year number 2, I think to a certain extent there's fans that see Trevor Siemian as John Elway's draft mistake personified. And for some reason they're deflecting their anger at Trevor because they can't bring themselves to be mad at John. That's one theory. What's yours? Hit us up on Twitter. Let us know. We'll talk about some of the best ones that we get as we go on the show. Again, back with you tomorrow for a Wednesday Hump Day edition of the program, 7 a.m., Mile High Sports Radio, AM 1340, FM 1047. Rockies start a 3-game set tonight against the Royals as well in Kansas City. So a lot to get to tomorrow. We look forward to talking to you then. But for now, for TJ, I'm Nate. We'll see you.